Do
Me to hit
this.
record. Hey Jared,
Hi, how's it
happy
going?
Thursday.
Oh, that reminds me, I gotta remember my remind my work team to do their picks. I created it at work too.
Oh, nice.
Okay,
All
well,
right. Well, here we are, week three. Lots to probably say about week two. I feel like that's several days in the past that it's hard to recollect. But any thoughts that jumped out to you from those games? I know both of you and I had busy schedules last weekend, so
yeah, I'm just looking at now. Baylor beat SMU,
yeah,
which is a big one,
that's a big one.
and I think they came back pretty good. Missouri won, beat Kansas. I was torn
That
with
was
because
close.
I
Yeah,
wanted, I'm Big
Big 12.
12 now, but I went to Mizzou, so that was fun. Um, who else? Arizona State lost, Mississippi State, which really hurt the Big 12 as a whole. But yeah, those I think those are the main ones
But
that
but I
jumped out.
also think with the Arizona State, like you and I talked about the fact that their first win wasn't a huge show of confidence for
Yeah,
them.
that's
And
true.
so it's funny how at the very beginning of a season they kind of earmark teams in a conference to be like, you're the front runners, Kay.
Right, right.
And I was like, well, yeah, but they lost Scattaboo and and so wow, it's hard to kind of even though they still have their quarterback, keeping that team together in the same structure, it sounds like it's a little harder than it is. I mean, even the or not the quarterback, but the coach had some strong reactions
Yeah.
to that game. So.
Um, Here's kind of different a take on that is it's ridiculous that Arizona dropped out of the rankings to me. I know they lost to Mississippi State. Mississippi State was horrible last
Horrible
year, and they're
last
like
year.
the bottom of the SEC. But I'm like, Clemson almost lost to Troy, and
We,
they
yeah,
dropped a little. But I'm like, if we're just going off of look, is Clemson still a number 12 team? No.
no,
Like,
I,
but
yeah,
it's almost this perception of Big 12 again, which is really annoying. It's just like they won't move teams up quick, but they're willing to drop them like a
like a
rock.
hot, yeah, drop them like
Yeah.
it's hot.
But in if it's Big 10, SEC, even ACC, it's like we'll let you down slow.
We'll
It's
give you
week
the grace
two.
of even if
Just
it's against
figure
Troy, a
out
random team,
right. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's very annoying. But
Yeah,
oh
I think
well.
Clemson's time is coming. They have kind of a reckoning this week with Georgia. So, uh,
I yeah, Georgia Tech.
oh, Georgia Tech. Wait, okay,
Yeah.
Clemson. Oh yeah, Georgia's playing Tennessee. Sorry, I read that wrong.
Yeah.
Okay,
We'll
well,
just jump into it then.
yeah, let's jump into it. I'm going to share my screen so I can talk a little bit about why I chose the ones I chose, or I added a column this week. So the column I added, Jared last week mentioned that sometimes the spread strategy on a Monday is different than the spread strategy on a Thursday. I wanted to see how different it was, and man, was it. There was quite a bit of shifting that went around. I mean, look at where Clemson went from 10 to 4.
Yeah.
So, and at a confidence of a 9.5 spread to a 3.5, interesting. You know what I mean? So, I don't know that I know the dynamics of why that would have changed so much. And you've been tracking this longer than I have, so I was wondering if you had any thoughts on this, Jared.
Well, it's just the thing that move the spread are betters.
Hmm.
So if more people are taking a certain team,
Hmm.
like if you start as a 10-point favorite and everyone starts, oh, I'm gonna mess up the direction on this. Everyone starts betting for the underdog, it's
Yeah.
gonna move the line down one way
Okay.
basically.
The
So
money
so
line.
that's why I think it's interesting. It's like, do you wanna do your picks without that influence? Do it Monday. If you want to do it with the influence, do it Thursday. Or on ESPN, they show, I just noticed this week, they show what the spread's at and they show what it opened at. So you can see
Mhm.
the variance, which
Oh,
is
that's interesting.
so you do have that choice. Not that you like have to. You used to have to get on Monday and do it.
Yeah.
And I
Which
just noticed this year, like, oh, cool, they show me, so I can do it whenever
so you
in the
can see
week.
the spread
So,
whenever. Nice. Yeah, because I'm looking at this. One of the hugest things that stood out to me was Clemson being at 10 with a 9.5 spread. And then on the matchup predictor, Georgia Tech is predicted to win. And it's not by I mean, necessarily like 51 and a half. It's like 55.9. So that's bigger than I thought it would be for that big of a difference.
yeah,
So I think this is the week. So I've highlighted the teams that have the difference between the matchup predictor strategy, have a different winner.
Okay.
Which I think is something we can kind of talk through because I don't know. I'm feeling like the one down the middle on a Thursday is probably a blend of those to some extent. And because I was trying to just do averages and stuff, but you do averages in general, right, Jared?
I do lots of calculations,
Yeah,
yes.
lots of calculations. Um, but
Um,
anyway, we can just start talking through them. I'm like, which one do we pick? Which one do we pick? But I guess
yeah.
we can talk through this spread strategy on Thursday. That seems to be.
Okay.
So we've got Pitt and West Virginia. This one's the top at the end of the week. I actually agree with this one after watching West Virginia or at least hearing about them to some extent last week. I got a small picture of it and I was like, wow. I mean,
Yeah. I can see this one.
yeah,
Could West Virginia bounce back? Maybe it was a wake up call, maybe, but
the likeliness.
I'm not betting on it. No.
No. And I don't even know anything about Pitt. I think that just
Me
kind of
neither.
goes back to like that's how much no trust I have in West Virginia right now. I'm like, if you were an average team, then we're gonna give the
Yeah.
win to you.
And
So,
Pitt's really played no one either. So
yeah, but at least
it's
they've won, right?
but yeah, but West Virginia's lost a game they should have won. So yeah, there
Yeah,
you go.
yeah,
That's kind of the kicker. So I could see this being up there for sure. And apparently people agree who are betting money as
yeah.
well.
The Texas Notre Dame game. Look, all three strategies have it at a 9. And I'm like, interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like that's very generous to Notre Dame. I
So
don't
I
know.
agree, but I also I can never figure Texas A&M out.
Mm,
Like they are I don't think they put together a complete season
yeah.
in a while, but they always have, I feel like, some great wins and some horrible losses, kind of like a BYU, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like, is this the game that they upset? I don't know. It's at Notre Dame. I think it's at Notre Dame. It's not
Yeah, it's
neutral.
yeah, it's not.
So, like, I do agree. I in this instance, but my question marks are always like, I don't know, Texas A&M, you showing up this week or
Yeah,
not?
unless last year weren't they 10-2? So I mean that's pretty decent. But I think the schools they lost to, if I remember correctly, South Carolina, which was an upset that wasn't even ranked at the time. And we know what we know about South Carolina this year is that at least they're ranked. I don't know if it's deserved yet, but I think Texas A&M is one to play with the chip on their shoulder. I mean, yeah, I would definitely say that Texas A&M would have the favor if they were playing at their stadium with the 12th man involved, but. I think this one will be closer than what it's predicted. Notre Dame at Miami, I think again it goes back to like what's really hard to tell is Miami that good? Because if we
Yeah,
knew Miami was like number one team for real and legit, then we can be like, okay, Notre Dame almost beat them. Yeah, they're probably going to beat A&M. But right now it's like I don't know. I just
yeah,
know. And I feel like they're at least a contender in the SEC in the top half of the SEC generally, or at least have been for the last at least 1 or 2 years.
yeah,
So it'll be an
yeah.
interesting game.
Well, that is definitely a game that I'll be tracking during the
Tracking.
day.
Yep.
Uh,
The game I probably won't be tracking is Washington Ta State and North Texas.
it's funny because when I first looked at this game, I was like, "Oh, Washington State, they're in the Pac-12," and then I remember, "Oh,
That's the
no,
bias you were
it's a
talking
very
about.
different thing. Like Pac-12's totally changed, and
Yeah.
I don't know." So it's North Texas. It's an interesting pick, and I think yeah, that is the bias you almost have to get out of. Like, oh,
Yeah.
Washington State should win this game. Yeah, 3 years ago they
Yeah.
should win
They
this
should have
game,
won it.
but this year it's like, oh,
Yeah. Because when
I
the,
don't
the
know.
Pac-12 disintegrated, yeah, 3 years ago, like you said, Washington State and Oregon State actually were doing pretty good. If I remember they had at least a run. I mean, that was the year of Washington, wasn't it? Something. I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah,
but so yeah, I feel like they had a really Pac-12 had a really interesting exit. And but I just think they don't have any. I mean, how can you recruit to the Pac-12 right now? Like
It's like we're putting to a group of five right
yeah,
now.
but
Recruiting.
same with North Texas. How do you recruit to North Texas? I don't know.
Yeah, but that's
So
why it's a more interesting pick now instead of just oh, Washington State should win this. It's like, wait, let me think about this,
yeah, let me
actually.
Let me listen to what all the analysts say because I think this one comes down to like teams we don't really know anything about because they're not, I mean, this kind of goes back to the same thing you're saying. It's easy to go back to bias of a team you know, even if it was a team you know from several years ago, rather than picking a team that is pretty much unknown unless you were personally trying to study it. So,
Yeah,
um, and then speaking of our next group, Memphis and Troy, I mean, these are other teams that would probably be in the same group as North Texas in the sense of most
yeah,
people don't know about them. I was kind of shocked how Memphis was trumped over Troy because I'm like, okay, so if this is just stats predictors, Troy almost beat Clemson.
hmm
Wasn't it Clemson? So I'm like,
yeah,
that doesn't, I don't know if that tells me anything about Clemson or tells me anything about Troy, but I don't, what has Memphis done? I feel like when I was looking at their record, it wasn't super
yeah,
impressive. And so to be honest, this is one that I could see an upset on to be like, let's give Troy a little bit of street cred for keeping
yeah,
it that close with Clemson. So that's what I'm,
yeah. And it's at Troy.
it's at Troy.
Yeah, so who knows? But I agree with you. This is I don't know Memphis good enough. This is a
Yeah.
probably a bias like, oh, Memphis should be better. But like you said, Troy really kept up with Clemson, and I don't know anything about them either.
Yeah.
So
And it also makes me want to study Memphis because if everybody and all the odds makers and everybody's looking at Memphis and putting him there, either they're way wrong or they know something I don't know. So
yeah,
this is
right.
also one of the games where if I wasn't too sure about it, I'd probably spend some time looking into Memphis. I haven't done that yet, but
Yeah.
pro tip,
Okay. What else is
Georgia,
Georgia
Tennessee.
Tennessee? Good game. Could be a good game. I will say with this one, I think this is a. Let me look at the who. Like, I feel like it's like I haven't heard anything about Georgia yet. They're just quietly number six. And Tennessee, I also feel like it's been relatively quiet. And you look at who they played, it's like it's because they haven't played anyone yet.
They
So
they struggled against Syracuse for a second. It was a fairly close game, but pulled away at the end.
yeah,
In Georgia, I feel like they didn't accomplish the slaughter in the preseason like they were supposed to. So they've been getting some heat, if I remember. They're kind of a version of Clemson, if I remember correctly. But so that's another one where I'm like, ooh,
and in Tennessee, and the
yeah,
thing is though, with this one, again with the bias, unless you get slaughtered in this game, if it's a close game, it'll probably be like, oh, we switch rankings if Tennessee beats Georgia, or no one's dropping out, which again is the whole bias of SEC. It's like they could both be bad, or one's really bad, or
yep,
whatever. So, but I do think it'll be an interesting game. Definitely one I'll try to flip on and watch a little bit
yeah.
of.
And the matchup predictor has Tennessee winning and puts them at 2. So again, another one that I would rank low. I'm not sure on the spread strategy I'd rank it that high. That's a 6. That yikes. That's a little high in my opinion. I'm not sure I would pick like I have a fondness for Tennessee because I've been there and I've been to their stadium, but um so I actually if I'm looking for 3 upsets to pick, I might actually pick Tennessee on this one.
I
I'm
could,
not
yeah,
sure I would pick Clemson. I like if we'll go to the next couple, but like a couple that are like could swing either way. But I was like, I could see Tennessee stepping up, but I could
yeah.
also, yeah, I can also see Georgia stepping up. So we'll have
This
to
is
see how it
maybe
goes.
maybe we need to come up with the underdog pick of the week. And
Hey,
this,
our super dogs.
yeah, this is. I think this is a good one. Yeah, you got.
hmm
Yeah. Still don't know a lot about the teams, but yeah, this could go either way, I think.
Yeah. Speaking of the SEC teams, Vanderbilt and South
Vanderbilt.
Carolina. This is going to be an interesting battle, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Um,
Did Vanderbilt lose last week? They ended up losing. No, they won. They
oh, they
beat
won.
Virginia Tech, but
Yeah.
they were behind for a while. That's what it was. I was like, oh, they're gonna lose, and then
Yeah, they had a
they
decent
pulled it.
comeback, but yeah, it was a little scary at the very beginning. I will say their quarterback. I mean, he's just got so much gumption.
Yeah.
South Carolina had a shaky, like what's interesting about these two teams is they have both played the same team already. So here's another thing too. They
hmm
have both played Virginia Tech. So
Yeah.
because they have both played Virginia Tech, sometimes when you're doing strategy, you can take that factors in to be like, who won? Who had the better score? And it's sometimes hard because it's like, oh, the spread between the scores was the same. But like with South Carolina, it was a lower score. So I'm like, okay, the defense
hmm
probably is better at South Carolina. But the offense ran up the score pretty high over
Yeah.
it at Vanderbilt. So it's like, okay, so potato, potato. And so that's an interesting one that
The
I,
one
yeah.
the one caution I'd say with that, because I do that too. You look, oh, the common opponent,
Hmm.
and luckily it's like very close that they've had it within a week. But
Yeah.
when you start to spread it out 5 weeks, 6 weeks, you
It's
can be in a
different.
completely different team. It's still worth looking at, but
Yeah.
what if injuries happen? You never know.
Yes.
But this
Yeah.
close in the season, hopefully they were playing kind of the similar team. And of
Yeah.
course
Because
there's other factors, but
yeah, it
yeah.
was like a week separation on that. So,
Yeah.
and I think both of those, well, Vanderbilt played at Georgia Tech, right? Or was that at Vandy?
Vanderbilt played at Virginia Tech. Yeah,
Okay.
and
And
South
that's
Carolina
different
was
than South
home.
Carolina. So,
Yeah.
um, I don't know. I still think South Carolina has the edge on this, but I'm like
Yeah.
secretly rooting for the underdog on this one.
Yeah. Gotta yeah, I am too. Same boat. I if I were to pick it's South Carolina, but if Vanderbilt wins, it's okay.
That's the hard thing about pick'em. Sometimes you're like, okay, I picked this person because it's probably going to happen, but like rooting against your own strategy sometimes because you're like, go team that I
Yeah.
didn't pick.
Or like I'll find if it's like, oh, I put that at
Yes.
2 and everyone put it at an 8. I'm like, lose. Like
Lose.
I want
Yes.
Camille to lose her 8, and I'll just lose a 2. That's fine. Or if everyone put them high, it's like, okay, I don't care
Yeah.
which way this direction goes, but or win
Yeah,
goes.
I found myself rooting against my picks if like especially when I was playing against Jared and my brother-in-law, knowing they were doing the spread. If they picked something high, I was like, let them lose. I don't even care. Like, because I didn't
Uh,
care about at that point, I didn't care about a perfect record. I cared about winning the
get,
week,
getting those
essentially.
points, yeah,
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
Um, who's next here?
Clemson and Georgia Tech. So Georgia Tech kind of no, I
Yeah.
was thinking Virginia Tech, but Clemson and Georgia Tech. They keep this will be interesting. I think this will actually be a good arm strength test of Clemson because I don't think we're getting enough information to know whether Clemson is actually viable for
Yeah.
like are they worthy of the top 25?
Yeah.
Because I think the press was very, very favorable to them. But I don't know. From what I've seen so far, it's pretty shaky, and it's hard to gauge. Like even top 10. Like what are they ranked right now? They're in the top
What was it? 12.
12th. Okay, that feels a little bit more fair because at first I was like they shouldn't be in the top
I don't think they should be top 15, top
No, I
18.
agree. Yeah.
Like how did you even start that high? Well, recruiting. You got good recruits, so you're gonna be good. And the thing is, I think it's kind of a trendy upset getting Georgia Tech in there, but
Hmm.
I'm looking at who they played. They beat Colorado at Colorado, and who knows what Colorado
Hmm.
is because
Yeah.
they're all over the place. And then they beat, I don't even know who that team is, but they killed them. So I at first I was like, oh, Georgia Tech, they're doing okay, but now I'm like,
Are
can
they?
they? Can they? So I think this is maybe the intrigue game of the week. Like
Yeah.
I really don't know Georgia Tech, but I do think they could upset Clemson,
Yeah.
and it's at Georgia Tech too.
Yes.
So that's
I
interesting.
think this will be one of those like hard dips where it's like you can actually start seeing what these teams really are made of. And so I think there are some teams still playing cupcakes right now, but I feel like these are the games that start showing what these other teams that aren't. Because again, Georgia Tech's not ranked, so would be a huge win
Oh,
for them.
huge.
Huge
Yeah,
win.
and then Clemson would drop 3 spots, and because
And Georgia
the
Tech
oh
might like scrape 25.
might get 25. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. All right.
Uh,
Another team, a group of teams that aren't as familiar, but App State and Southern Miss.
I like Southern Miss logo. Um, and I always think about App State's upset win in 97. I think it was 97 against Michigan when they were still D2.
Oh,
And that was, I remember, was it 90? Anyway, it was late 90s, early 2000s. And it was
wow.
like the biggest upset in the big house. And so that's my memory of Appalachian State is
It's a pretty
that.
good memory.
Um,
Yeah.
but with that said, oh, what did I pick? Oh, I think I went App State, but it's low. I don't have confidence in this game.
App
I don't.
State on all of these is like 1, 3, and 4. And
Yeah.
so pretty much a five or lower. Mostly because again, we don't know Southern Miss, but I feel wasn't Southern Miss in our spread or in the last week's games, if I remember correctly. Maybe
I
I
don't
don't
remember.
remember correctly. Anyway, Yeah, these teams are harder because there's not a lot of publicity around them. Like if you watch College Game Day, they're not talking about App State and Southern Miss. So you're not really you have to dig pretty deep for any information that might tell you
Yeah.
one way or the other.
One thought, well, first off, let me correct this. It was 2007 when App State went
Okay.
to Michigan, so I had a seven in there.
Uh-huh.
Um, what I normally do is like, okay, cool, I got the spread. Okay, cool, I got the FPI.
Hmm.
But if I don't know anything, like if I'm like, I just don't know,
Hmm.
my general rule is don't put them high.
Yeah,
Unless
same.
unless the spread is like
Great.
crazy, like big. But I'm just like, if you don't know anything about either side, like probably want to keep them low. Like I'd rather
I
do
agree.
that. Like there have been times I was like, yeah, I'll put them high. I think I like the Eagle
Hmm.
logo, and then it's like that didn't work out.
Well,
Um,
let's be honest. If you have to start scraping for like which mascot do I like better, then probably keep it low because that means
but
that you're
you
using.
can win like
You can
that.
win like
It's
that. You can win
happened.
like that. Yeah, it's true. Um,
Um,
okay, Minnesota Cal.
the battle of the golden mascots, golden gophers
Yeah.
and golden bears.
Yeah.
I, this is another tough one. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have a coworker had a coworker who was a big Minnesota fan.
Uh-huh.
I'm kind of inclined to go with them just
Yeah.
because of that. That doesn't
Mean
mean
much?
anything,
Yeah.
but yeah. Let me look at their.
Which is actually more surprising to me because if I'm looking at the game right below it, Duke and Tulane, I feel like I have a little bit more faith in Tulane, based on their, and that might be actually because I know the quarterback,
Yeah,
like, so it helps when you know some history of who's playing, but, but I don't know. So
I
yeah,
think
go ahead.
looking at who they played, it's a toss up. They both won two games against not great people. Cal beat Oregon State, but Oregon State's in the same boat as Washington State, kind of. So
Uh,
I don't know. Where is it? It's played at Cal,
yeah,
so I don't know. Maybe Cal gets the edge, but I
yeah.
don't know. It's probably Minnesota.
It's a toss up, I think, on this one. But I think more people know more about Minnesota to be able to put their trust in that. Is Minnesota in the ACC or are they in the
Big
Big Ten?
Ten,
Okay,
Big
Big
Ten.
Ten. Okay.
Yeah, they've been there a while. Yeah, Cal's in the
ACC.
ACC.
Yeah.
Um, what I always think of with Cal and Stanford games is anytime I flip it on, there's no one in the stands when they're playing home games. And it's sad because I do remember like 90s, early 2000s, like they were solid teams. Like they weren't winning championships, but they're
Well, yeah,
solid
like
teams.
Andrew Luck. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
they had people in the stands, and then you look and it's like the band's barely there, you know? Like it's it's sad, but
It's
I
the
don't know.
reality. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Cool.
all right. So last but not least, Duke and Tulane. I kind of already gave my thoughts on that. What do you think?
Yeah. I think kind of the same. Tulane's kind of been they're kind of been hot the
Hmm.
past two games. Retzloff's been doing pretty good, I think. So, and Duke lost to Illinois, who I don't know what to make of Illinois yet,
Yeah.
but it's at Tulane. I'll give it to Tulane. I
Yeah,
think.
me too. I think if I were to kind of shuffle this up with if I'm going to pick two or three other upsets, I would move Tulane up and put those upsets lower. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Wait, on this Tulane's not. Wait, they're not an upset. They're just low, right? The
No, I was saying if I picked other games that were upsets, I'd put it low
oh
and
yeah, yeah, oh yeah.
move Tulane up.
I agree
So
with you. I
yeah,
agree.
because I think, and that's what I've normally done. If let's say I decide to pick Tennessee and Vanderbilt, so I would take obviously not keep them at those spots. I'd move it down, and then Tulane would go up,
Yeah,
and the others would go up as well. So another
yeah.
thing that I was looking at, and I'll have to see if I can pull it up real fast, but I was looking at um, times of when these games are being played.
Hmm.
So one of the things I put into consideration, so Memphis and Troy are playing at 10 and well, okay, at 12 Eastern, I'll say that. And then Clemson and Georgia Tech are playing at 12 Eastern, 12 p.m. Eastern. So one of the things I've done in the past is position them in a spot where if I'm really confident in that game, I'll probably put it at 10 because I was like, let me just cash in on that 10 right now. These two games I'm not that confident in, and so I have them placed at like a 1 and a 5. So
Mhm.
that reserves the higher numbers for me to play around with if I need to later in the day. So just that was one thing that came to my mind. I was like, I'll try to share that this time because that might help with the time strategy. Because over time, I think later in the year, time strategy works a lot better because you actually have more faith in the teams themselves. So you can be putting them in places that mean something. Um,
Yeah. You
but
know them better, and like now it's almost too early to play with like catch up. It's like you don't want to hurt yourself too much, but
you
that
got to
second
stay in
half
the
of the
pack.
year, yeah, you kind of yeah.
Yeah.
I think right now in our group it's split by from let's see, Andrew's at 79 to eighth place. There's 9 point difference, 79 to 70.
Normally, when
So
there's less than 10, there's a lot of room for the next week to
yeah,
be meaningful to you, you know, because like
yeah,
one placement of a different game or two could really go a long way. So,
yep, for sure, for sure. But it's pretty competitive so far.
yeah,
Lila and Ben have started to take it serious
it's two daughters.
with yeah, not too serious, but they're like, what's the strategy? And so I'm telling them about the numbers and
Yeah.
what they mean. The two boys, well, one's 3, so he doesn't care, and the other one's just kind of like, whatever, dude. I'm picking what I pick. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. So
He's like his mom. Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll have to see. I know there's a lot of other games around the conferences that should be entertaining, but yeah, we'll try to check back in on Sunday and see if we were even close with some of our thoughts on here. But I
probably not.
well,
Uh,
and as you can see with all the strategy spreads, like there's a variety of different ways you can go. I do think one of the tips that I can say is if you select a strategy, shifting between strategies every week would probably hurt you more than staying with one strategy throughout the whole time.
agreed, but the time to shift would be in the first 3 to 4
Yes, I agree
weeks.
with that. I agree.
Yeah.
But once you get locked in after like 4 or 5, you probably need to ride that out because you kind of shoot yourself in the foot, as you saw with all the different strategies, like shifting all these, like if some of them have like percentages of like 70%, well, if you want the 70%, stay there because if not, then you're risking all the percentage riskiness of that. So.
I want to check something real quick because I track the strategies. Yeah, there's weeks that like the percentages, the voting from the people
Mhm.
like did better, but then they have some big swings back the other way, and then the FPI is just bad. Um, and then odds are generally the most consistent,
That's the most consistent.
generally. Yeah.
And if you can
But
play the odds and guess the right upset, even better. That's
yep,
probably your best shot.
because there are a few weeks where you're gonna get okay, the odds beat me, but I beat like last year I beat the odds 4 weeks,
Hmm.
and I should have just played the odds because those
Yeah.
other 10 weeks I lost points
Yeah.
on that,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
same with the percentages of the FBI, I beat them more often and some weeks big actually. And then the fan people, I beat them consistently. That's why I don't use that. Like I beat them
Yeah.
11 weeks out of the year, and the first week was the first, like that's why the first week's hard because the
Mhm.
fans were right. The odds and FPI were big time wrong
Yeah.
that week. Anyway, okay, I'm rambling now, but
Oh, I think this is fun.
had some more
And
stats
by the way,
for you.
Jared, when you say FPI, just for clarification for the folks, do
Uh-huh.
you mean
All our
the
fans.
predictor, the
Yeah, so it used to call it FPI, and then
power
even on
ranking?
some shows I watch, they'll say FPI, ESPN FPI. So I think I'm just in the habit of calling it that. But yeah, it's the match
Matchup
predictor or
predictor.
whatever. Yeah.
I think they renamed it. They probably put a trademark on it and been like, this is what our FPI means, you know.
It's probably what happened is everyone realized FPI is a piece of crap and doesn't work, so they're like, let's rename it and try
Yeah.
again. Oh, it's still a crap. Okay.
Okay, never mind.
We
Anyway,
got we got BYU going undefeated. Great. I would love that, but that's
but
not
that's
gonna
not
happen.
reality. Like even BYU fans know that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, anyway, all right.
All right, good
Well,
week. Good
good
luck.
luck.
All
Yep.
right.
All
Bye.
right.